to show you some of the basics of After Effects and how to kind of get started with a shape animation. First thing, if you haven't already, you want to start a new project, or if there's a window up, you want to create that project. From there, you kind of are in the basic look of After Effects. What you want to do from there is inside your project, you're going to have multiple compositions, potentially. Composition is like another name for a video. So we're going to go new composition, and we're going to set this guy up. A couple things we want to set. For our preset, we want to go down to HD 25 or 1080 25. We can just set the duration if we want to. I'm going to leave it at 30, and then our background color here can be changed by double clicking on it and just changing the color and hit OK. All right. For viewing, this is kind of where your video is going to be. If you want to change the zoom, you can zoom in and zoom out. Up here, it's period and comma for the hotkeys. Down below is your timeline. Over here is your workspace, kind of your folder, and then your layers. If things kind of get out of hand for some reason, you can always go Window Workspace and Reset Essentials. That'll place everything back to the beginning look. From here, what I'm going to do is just start by creating a circle. So I'm going to go up to the top left. The two main tools we're going to use are arrow, select, and our shape tool here. So I'm going to click and hold and give it an ellipse. And I'm just going to drag out a circle. And you're going to see that it's going to create this layer down here. Right now, this thing has no stroke and no fill. So what I'm going to do is hold down Option and click on my fill to turn it on. I can toggle between all these different options, but I'm going to keep it at that. And if I double click on the red, I can go and select my color. Same thing with the stroke. I can choose to turn that on or off, and also decide on what style that's going to be. And if I double click, then I can decide on the color of it. Up here, you can slide to change your stroke weight too. And so we have this basically just kind of started. What we're going to do is we're going to keyframe this thing to get larger. So I'm going to go into my image down here, and what you're going to see is a bunch of different options. The thing we're going to use is transform, and we're going to focus on scale. The only way to get there is just if you close this caret up, this little arrow down here, if you click on your shape layer, you can hit return, title it circle 1, and if I hit S, that's going to pull up my scale keyframing. So over here we can do a couple things too. One thing is we want to shrink this up. So what I'm going to do is kind of pull this over and just shrink my length of that visual up. If I hold down Shift, it'll snap to the beginning or snap to any other thing that's there. Okay, so that's about a good length, about 4 seconds. And we do have our scale keyframe thing on. So what I do is I'm going to turn on the scale there. And you're going to see it created this keyframe point. So we're going to say, all right, what scale is this going to be at 0? Maybe I want it to be small. So if I want it to be small, and type in 0, hit enter. It's going to be really small. Maybe I want it to be really big and get smaller. So if I want that to happen, I would make it really big and then move my playhead. And then by the time it gets to there, it's going to shrink down. There we go. And let's go ahead, pull my playhead back. You can skim through it, or you can pull it back and hit spacebar to play it, to watch it. Okay. It's pretty good. Maybe I want that to go faster, so I'm going to click on one of my keyframes down here and move it over a little bit. And let's go watch that again. So here we go. Shrinks down. All right. What I'm going to do now, I have that one animated. I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to go Command D. I'm going to click on my layer here. Command D. And on this one, it actually is the exact same thing right now as the other one, but I'm going to change that. So how I'm going to change that is if I ever click this stopwatch off, that creates my keyframes, it'll take those away. So that one's going to be different. And what I'm going to say is on this one, I want the start point on this one to be 0. And then a little bit in here, I want it to be larger. And you can see it. So there it is. And what that one will look like if I play it. Oop, and I didn't turn on my scale, so I got to turn on my keyframes for this. I'll move that keyframe back to 0. I'll say, okay, add 0, be 0. Okay, at this point, how big do I want it to be? Scale it up. Pull it back. Let's see it. Boom. All right. Couple other things to do here. Maybe I want to shrink these up so I can adjust them. You know, they were based off the same animation initially, but now they're different. You can also do this thing called displacing. So what's going on with displacing? I just close up all my stuff here. Is these are. Let's see if that's right. That should be good. What I'm going to do is I'm going to offset these. So this one will play first. This one will start a little bit later. All I'm doing there is just having this thing, you know, this one plays first. It gets bigger. This one's going to start a little bit later. So I play it. boom, you can see one kind of slow down. There was a little glitch of something popping up there. Probably a, let's see here, probably an extra keyframe. So yeah, keyframe, we don't want that to be there, so I'm going to delete it. And then, boom. Okay, just for kind of sake of make sure we really fully understand this, I'm going to duplicate this one again. So now I have two of the smaller circle, and then I'm just going to displace it. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to change it a little bit, make it like a teal fill instead. So it's going to basically do the same thing, just at a different rate, and it'll end up with a different color too. So there we go. All right. Now you're seeing a couple things here. See how it comes up and it looks like it's a little bit off in the centering department. So what we're going to do here is we're going to shift select these, and we're going to try to center these using this thing called a line up at the top. Okay, so I'm going to go here and hit horizontal. And let's see, that looks like it might have done the trick here. So I'm going to get my arrow. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and play it. All right. I'm pretty happy with that. I don't really have much issue with anything there. Looks like it's a little bit off there. What's going on is one of these, looks like probably the middle one, maybe that anchor point's a little bit off. Possibly this one. So what I'm going to do is go into my transform, and I'm just going to mess with that anchor point and get that centered up maybe a little bit more. Could be even that second one. Maybe it's just the scale. So that's actually okay. All right, and then there we go. Nice little animation. Okay, the other thing we're going to do here is we're going to do something called easy ease. What that's going to do is allow these things to gradually change. So we're just going to do it on the smaller one here, and you're going to kind of see it. Actually, you know what? We'll do it on the bottom one. So on this big one. So I'm going to open up my options and go into scale, and you can see you have these keyframes down at the bottom. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can select on one at a time, right-click it, right-click it, or what I'd prefer is drag selecting the two, or you could do drag select 4, whatever, and then right-click them and go keyframe assistant, and I'm going to turn on easy ease. And again, the way I kind of talk about this is, you know, when you hit the gas on a car, it's going to speed up gradually. So what happens here is it gradually speeds up, and then at the end it gradually slows down and stops. So it's a little bit more of like a smooth movement. You're not going to see it at the beginning as much as the end, because the outline's off screen, but on these you probably see it pretty easily. I hit on that one. You can see it kind of slows down there. So you can do that to all your animations. Let's try the second one. And it does change the visual of that keyframe when you do it. So if I right-click, easy as you see, it kind of changes from a diamond to this little hourglass shape. And then I hit it, and then boom. All right. Another thing we can change is we can right-click and go to keyframe velocity. And you can see right now, for the incoming velocity, it's 33. Outgoing is also 33. I'm going to change that to 75, make it go a little bit faster so it's got a little bit more pop to it. I'm going to hit OK. Let's try that one. Boom. So which one is it? It's that middle one right here that you're seeing do that. So versus it going that same speed, it's kind of slow at the beginning, and then at the end it really rushes in to get to that spot to finish where it's supposed to be at. So that's just a good variety of different techniques there of how you can use those things. So going reverse, large to small, small to big, and then easing in and out, and changing velocity speed. Okay. All right. The next demo we'll talk about trim paths, dot dashes, and animating movement.